Alejandro Kirk. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Blue Jays Today Show, where we always have something to say about the Blue Jays. I am your host, Adam PEDDLE.
And I'm your host, Nicholas Playlog. And today is the first ever Blue Jays Today Show, where basically every single Sunday, or I guess it's coming out on Monday.
Yes.
We're filming it on Sunday.
Yes.
But every single Monday, we will be doing a kind of week in review recap, and then also previewing the next week. Now, this isn't only for Blue Jays. There will be a large focus on the Blue Jays, but we'll be kind of talking about everything that's encompassing the MLB, giving some hot takes, doing some strange segments, doing a whole bunch of stuff that's talking to you about baseball. But before we get into what happened last week and what's happening for opening day week, opening day week! Please make sure to like, subscribe, comment down below, and the whole shebang. Also, if you want to win a Blue Jays jersey, Today Jays is the code for Monkey Knife Fight. Make your first deposit, your first bet, and then you will be entered. And we are giving that away on this coming Thursday. That's opening day, or at least we'll be announcing the winner. So let's break straight into it, man. Let's tell them what's going on in baseball. Big injury to the Yankees, one of our big rivals. What are your thoughts and feelings on Luke Voit going down?
Luke Voit, well, to start off, guys, Luke Voit is down for at least 3 weeks with a partially torn meniscus, but Joe Girardi has said that he should be back sooner than expected, but, sooner than June. So that's the positive thing about the Yankees. Now, the only thing is, you're wondering, oh yes, they lost Luke Voit as a rival team as the Blue Jays. When you see someone lose a big player, Luke Voit, that's huge for the team. But I'm not worried about the Yankees losing their depth. They have lots of depth. That's why they went out and got guys like Gardner. They got guys like Jay Bruce. They have people to replace them in the lineup, and they still have Stanton and Judge as their big boppers. So yes, it's a tiny loss for them. But it's not that really. They're really. That's just a ding in their armor. Armor.
Obviously, Luke Voit is a very, very talented player, and you always hate to see a guy go down like that, especially somebody who led the league in home runs last year. Who knew what his potential was. Also, I'm sorry, but you need to kiss that money that you bet on him goodbye.
Oh yeah, he's not winning. He's not winning the home run.
Probably not. You got to be healthy the whole year to do that. But
$3, but
yeah, whatever.
$3
down the drain. The Yankees lineup is so good, anyways, man. It feels like they're gonna have no problems with that. And I also get the vibe, obviously when I hear torn meniscus, I go, because that's ugly.
But right on your kneecap for those who don't know.
Yeah. Hate that word. Meniscus, I'm just that should stay healthy at all times.
Yes.
But I do get the feeling he will be back at some point this year. And the way that I look at that for them is this is kind of like their George Springer. It's for us, because George Springer, guys, and it's kind of segueing to another thing that's going on in MLB with George Springer is, he's still hurt. Optimistic that he'll be good for opening day.
Yeah.
But we don't know for sure.
Look, he's got a grade 2 strain, and a grade 2 oblique strain is a really ugly injury. However, like we've said before, they're very hopeful, and George Springer has said that his condition and his symptoms aren't that bad as a grade 2 would say that it is. So, however, I think it's the best way to go about this is just shut him down for opening day. Because, look, you don't want to be risking your $150 man on the first day. You don't want to be aggravating that and tearing it to get a bigger injury than a grade 2. So I just think we should shut him down, keep him calm. You obviously don't want to re-aggravate that. What are your thoughts on that?
I completely agree with you. I think if he was a $150 man, I'd be totally different about it. But $150 million.
$150? $150 million.
He probably gets paid way more than $150 per day. I don't even know. I'm not sure what the math
probably
is.
Probably gets paid more than $150 a minute when he's on the diamond.
It's probably ridiculous. But either way, man, this is obviously a massive investment for us, and we need to shut him down for sure until he is 1,000% healthy. Feels like the Yankees are going to do the same, and that's the benefit of having a deep lineup like both of our squads do.
Exactly.
Okay, this just creates more time and opportunity for somebody else. And we are going to get into who we think will be taking over that George Springer role a little bit later in this video. But a smaller investment, I don't even know what the hell his contract is or what he's doing, but Pablo Sandoval.
Yeah, let's go!
Atlanta.
Pablo Sandoval makes the Atlanta team. It's just really funny because I literally forgot about this guy. He did play for San Francisco in 2019 and in 2020. And then I don't know if he got traded. Totally sorry, ignorant guys. I don't know if he got traded to the Atlanta or not, but he played a couple games there. However, Pablo Sandoval, guys, is still kicking it. His OPS in the last 2 years is 756. So,
hey,
you know, former World Series winner still doing it.
750. The way that I look at it, man, 750. That is an average MLB player.
Yeah.
You can give me 750. I mean,
Yeah.
that's fine.
Yeah, and like, who do they have at third base for Atlanta? Yes, they have Riley Adams. I know he's played a little bit of outfield because I know they had like Josh Donaldson, he left, but like Riley Adams supposed to be a third base kind of guy. Hey, you got Pablo Sandoval now coming off your bench. If he can give you 756,
And that's probably what it is for the Braves, because we're talking about maybe the best lineup in baseball. I'm not going to say that they aren't, but you know, right up there, man. You know, for them, a 750 hitter on anybody else is like, oh, it's pretty good. Exactly. But for them, it's like, no, you're going to be sitting on the bench.
Yeah,
must be nice.
Former World Series winner.
Must be freaking nice. And I'll be honest, I'm not a major follower of Pablo Sandoval, but you were telling me he's a big boy.
He's a big boy. He's still a big boy.
Still a big boy, eh?
So he's still
I looked up his baseball reference photo, and there was some meat on that man's bones in that photo.
He's a big boy.
He is a big boy. So, as far as MLB news goes, I feel like that's kind of it right now.
Yeah, there's not much. We're gonna definitely find out some stuff like sooner in the as the week goes on. We're definitely gonna see like who's making the roster, who's been cut, who's the starting opening day people for all these teams. So
well, and that's what it is, man. You know, you want to talk about the news right now. The news is that opening day is on its freaking way. So as Blue Jays fans, we need to be ready for that.
Yes.
Hyun-Jin Ryu taking the mound opening day.
Yes. Hyun-Jin Ryu, man, like I love to see it. Like you knew this was going to happen. Hyun-Jin Ryu was going to take the mound as well. And we're going to get into later when we do a bit of a Yankee Blue Jay preview of who else we think is going to be kind of facing off against each other in that opening series.
Yeah.
Another thing I wanted to bring up was Blue Jays. We're talking about like who's making the opening day roster. Well, we just got news like 30 minutes ago of 5 players confirmed that have been confirmed that they're going to be making the opening day roster.
Hit me with these names.
So we got Trent Thornton.
Okay.
That one's actually, I'm like, okay, cool.
I'm okay with that.
Tim Meza. Okay.
Well,
rotation.
We saw him,
bullpen.
We saw him today. Yeah.
He was good. He's all right. Bullpen. He's coming back from Tommy John, so that's interesting.
Yeah.
Obviously, TELLEZ. We've just confirmed it. We knew he was going to make it.
Knew that he was going to make it. Good work, TELLEZ. You got to get a bit hotter, though, but good work, TELLEZ, nonetheless.
And this one's interesting, and this one is the one that I've been waiting for the confirmation.
Hit me with it, bro.
Alejandro Kirk. Alejandro Kirk makes the opening day roster.
Alejandro Kirk making the opening day roster. That is so beautiful to see, because when you hear that, that's got to mean that Reese McGuire is... He's gone. No.
They're going to put him through waivers. So he's going to have a period where teams can actually claim him from waivers. Honestly, I think a team like Pittsburgh, or like a team that really is looking for some sort of filler backup with a guy with maybe a tiny bit of upside, Reese McGuire can provide that. Well, he can't provide that for the Blue Jays, because I would much rather have the Gold Glove, the almost Gold Glove of Danny Jansen, and the awesome elite contact bat of Alejandro Kirk.
And Reese McGuire in today's preseason game, man, like he
was bad,
ugly, and like this has been the story with him. You know, I'm not worried about Kirk in any way, but I remember, and I was talking about this earlier. I remember when Reese McGuire came up, who we affectionately like to call Wanky Panky on the show, from his masturbating incident. But Reese McGuire, when he came up and he was batting, he had about 200 at-bats. I think it was like 195 at-bats or something like that. And he was actually really good. Yeah. He was really good.
Yeah.
And then it's like he just fell off a cliff, man. So fingers very crossed that doesn't happen to Kirk. I don't think so, bro. Yeah. I think he's just. I honestly think he's just a special talent.
They're touting Kirk way more than they're touting Reese McGuire.
Yeah,
and like
the pedigree.
Exactly. And if you look at the incident where Reese McGuire fell off, that's where he gets his nickname, because of the wanky pankiness. So I mean, you know, was it a coincidence? I don't think so.
Yeah, no. So, something got up in his head there, and.
It affected him on the diamond.
Whatever. As far as I'm concerned, I'm kind of happy that he probably won't be part of the team anymore.
We
don't need anybody hitting 150. That is Danny Jansen.
Agreed.
He's owning that role.
Agreed.
Another person for the Blue Jays, anyways, who is definitely making the roster. Davis.
Jonathan Davis,
man. Because George Springer right now, out.
Yes.
Obviously, with the injury, we were talking about it. We're shutting him down for a little bit. They are optimistic about him.
Yeah.
Very optimistic.
And I know a few fans are optimistic that he's going to play, but again, like for us personally, we'd much rather have him just shut down. Like, look, Jonathan Davis is hot. You know, you're basically Jonathan Davis is hitting what George Springer should be doing at a max level right now in spring training. So
yeah, spring training.
Let Jonathan Davis take over that outfield duty while George Springer is recovering from that oblique.
And we also, coming off of the injury train right now, Ray is scheduled to miss his first start as well.
Yes.
That's too bad. He was super hot in spring training. I mean, it's only one start, and my guy was literally saving his child's life right now.
Seriously.
That's a bit dramatic, but he fell down some stairs. He was holding his kid in his arms, and we're assuming that he probably blocked the blow with his elbow.
Man.
Sacrifices need to be made.
Good man.
And it's obviously not going to be on the kid.
Yeah, it's unfortunate because now, Robbie Ray was a lock to start that opening series. Absolutely, especially with Nate Pearson not even throwing off a mound yet. He's still throwing on flat ground. So Robbie Ray would have been a definite start in that opening series, but not anymore. So we're gonna definitely break that down and see who the hell is actually gonna be starting.
Who the hell is actually gonna be starting? I have no idea, man. This rotation, it looks Finsk. It looks Finsk right now. Okay, it looks like Kellogg, like they went on the Kellogg's diet or something. Like we look thin out there. So that's kind of what's going on in the MLB and the Blue Jays. Let's transition and talk about this coming week, and especially us against the Yankees. Now, our boy Patrick, he's got some stats for us.
Yeah.
He's got the stats saying who the hell is hot and who the hell is not right now. Patrick Antle, bro, let me hear it.
Thank you, gentlemen. I'm Pat Stats, and today we have two player breakdowns coming for you. Number one is going to be a player who's been red hot to start the year through spring training, and the other has been a guy who's been extremely cold. So first up, we have the red-hot Steven Matz. He's been 2-0 through spring training with an ERA of 1.76 and 15 strikeouts and 15 innings pitched. So it's just great to see from a guy who's had command issues in the past to see him on point hitting all his spots. Last year, he went 0-5 with an ERA of 9.68. Just awful. Basically, he had an uptick in fastball velocity and spin rate, but if he wasn't striking guys out, they were hitting out of the park. He gave up 14 home runs and 30 innings pitched. So basically, every other inning, he went up there and gave up a dinger. So it's nice to see this guy have a strong bounce back, who was once a top 10 MLB prospect heading into 2015, former second round pick. If this guy can eat up some innings while Robbie Ray and Nate Pearson are injured, that would be fantastic for this organization. Secondly, we have Rowdy Tellez, who's coming out of spring training extremely cold, and this is unfortunately not the greatest thing to see when he's fighting for a DH spot. So with the injury to George Springer, that means he's probably going to have that DH spot all to himself to start the year at least, with Randall Grichuk likely sliding into the outfield full-time. But he batted 184 with an OPS of 471 through 49 at-bats. So he actually had more at-bats than a lot of other guys in spring training, and he really lacked the power, so that's a little bit concerning. He only had 3 doubles, no home runs. His slugging percentage was in the 200s. So he's definitely going to have to pick that up if he wants to stay in the lineup full-time. Otherwise, he might start to lose some playing time to a guy like Jonathan Davis, who just made the lineup, who can play the outfield, and on top of that, actually had a strong spring training. So hopefully, Steven Matz carries it forward into the regular season with his hot start, and Rowdy Tellez can pick things up. Back to you guys.
And that's Patrick Antle with Pat Stats. That's very interesting that, if Tellez does continue to suck, which I definitely don't want to see him suck because he is like such an amazing, like strong bat in our lineup. But hey, if Davis wants to take over while George Springer's out and T.O. moves into that DH spot while Tellez kind of works on a few things, I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
I'm totally okay with that because that is what we could see for this upcoming week in the series between the New York Yankees and the Toronto Blue Jays.
Yeah, dude, Davis, this is kind of a side note, but I feel like that guy has beefed up in the offseason.
Really, eh?
Like, he looks bigger to me, man.
Oh.
He looks bigger than he did last year. Maybe he's going to the gym, but I think he had a really nice offseason. And again, like, injuries are always the worst, but they can sometimes be a blessing in disguise because of a young guy like Jonathan Davis. maybe he gets an opportunity right now.
Maybe.
I don't want Rowdy to suck, but if we had to move T.O. to that DH, like you said, and Jonathan Davis had to step in, I'm okay with seeing that.
But then what happens when George Springer comes back? Then what do you do, right?
See, this is one of those good problems because if everybody is doing well, obviously George Springer is going to be taking over that role from Jonathan Davis. This is the depth chart. But now when somebody else gets injured, I'm like, all right, no worries, man.
Yeah.
We got Jonathan Davis chilling right over here.
Yeah, and I kind of like Davis coming off the bench because he can steal some bases. So and his defense is actually really, really good. And hey, if you have to keep him in for the extra innings or one late inning at bat, no problem. No problem.
Yeah.
Maybe he pinch hits for someone who's struggling right now.
He's also a perfect pinch runner too.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Exactly. But you can pinch run him, steal some bases. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I do like Jonathan Davis.
I like him on the team, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we're going to need all the freaking good players that we can possibly get right now, man, because the first series that we have, and we're only going to talk about the first series here today, guys, because we're putting these out on Monday. And our series will just be culminating on that Sunday, so this coming Sunday. So we'll be talking about the whole next week in next week's episode. But so the first 3 games, they're all against the Yankees, and they released the rotation that they're planning to do. Any thoughts on who they released? And what your feelings are about those guys?
So the Yankees have confirmed Cole, obviously. No shocker here. Opening day against Hyun-Jin Ryu. Then on Saturday, they have Corey Kluber. Again, not another shocker. But one more shocker that they released is on Sunday, you're going to see Domingo Germán going to be pitching for the New York Yankees.
Right.
That's interesting that he's going to be part of their top 3. I thought it would be Taillon. I know a lot of Yankees fans thought it'd be Taillon. But Germán, still a good pitcher. He's having a good spring, if I'm not wrong.
I'll be honest. I'm not as familiar with his spring. I know that he was facing some potential alleged scandal about domestic abuse, and that was a little while ago, and he's apologized for that. So correct me if I'm wrong, guys. But apparently he is 1,000% good to go this year.
Okay.
No comment on whatever is going on in his personal life.
Well, besides the point, it is a tough
good baseball player.
Yeah, still a good baseball player. And you're facing Cole the ace, Kluber, a potential good, solid, amazing number 2, honestly.
2.77 ERA Kluber has in spring training.
Incredible. And Germán, who also has potential to be a great number 3 in that rotation. So the Jays have some work cut out for them.
We got our work cut out for him, man.
Yeah.
And the fact that because Cole right now, he's pitching something in spring training like a 2.45, I think. And Kluber with that 2.77. I'm not as familiar with Domingo, what he's doing in spring training, but I said this before, guys. I said, watch what Corey Kluber is doing in spring training. This means a lot because he didn't really play. He hasn't really played in the last couple of years. He's been hurt. And apparently he's decided that I'm going to come back and I'm going to be exactly how I was, at least in spring training. That's a problem because exactly how he was Cy Young winner twice, All-Star several times. As a Blue Jays fan, again, I don't want anyone to suck and I don't wish upon injuries, but I kind of wish that he sucked a bit more because
you kind of need to, man, because literally what our matchups could potentially look like. We obviously got Ryu against Cole,
which in my opinion, let's break that down a bit.
Okay.
We got both of our aces. They're both good. They're missing Luke Voigt. We're missing Springer. This seems at least remotely even.
I still think they have, just because of the New York Yankees, I think they have a slight edge just because, Garrett Cole, I hate to say it, is a better than Hyun-Jin Ryu over his career. But I still think it's going to be a good, low-scoring game on Thursday. That's going to be a nice pitching matchup, and it's all going to come down to, like you said before, who blinks first.
Yeah.
Who's going to blink first on that rotation? Is Cole going to give up 1-2 solo home runs? Is Ryu going to get out of a jam or maybe squeak a couple base hits and some runs score? Is our defense going to be bad? That's another thing. Our defense has got to be solid because if we start giving up errors and letting people on base and hurting Ryu, that's not going to be good, especially against Cole, who's not going to let up money runs.
Exactly, dude. And I've been, both of us have been, we've been pretty lax in it with the spring training, work out your kinks, figure out your stuff. You give up an error, that's okay. But in regular season baseball, when every game matters And especially with this team, like, we're so polarizing. We could lose a bunch of games. We could win a bunch of games with our pitching. Like, every game matters for this squad. It's not like the Dodgers where it's like we can just go on a run for 10 games and win them all. No.
Yeah.
We need to win every single game.
Yeah.
And errors against the team that is as good as the Yankees and with a pitcher as good as Cole, who you might get lucky if you can get 2 runs out of him. If we can squeeze 2 runs out of him, I feel like we have done our job, man.
Absolutely.
You can't be giving up any free bases to a team that is as stacked as the Yankees.
Absolutely. So that's going to be definitely some tough matchup right there.
So who you got in game 1?
So in game 1, who's going to be winning?
Yeah.
I mean, I have to give the slight advantage to the Yankees. I mean,
I would say that the Yankees probably exactly.
Yeah.
I do think when you're looking on paper, the Yankees got it.
The Yankees got that one. So in the second game on Saturday, so we got Corey Kluber confirmed. Now, Blue Jays have not announced yet who is going to be following Hyun-Jin Ryu, but you can speculate based on the way that they've been starting their pitching in spring training. So I'm thinking that they're going to put Stripling on the mound on Saturday.
2,
because they had MATZ going in the game before today. They had him going on this Saturday, and then they had Stripling go today.
Right.
So they're probably gearing up to pitch again for Saturday.
That would make sense. Sense, man. In today's game, like chicken strip. Sorry, I just like to say that. But Stripling, he was okay. He did leave. Like, I felt like his pitches were okay, but there was definitely hittable stuff there.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be honest, I'm a little concerned with a lineup as good as the Yankees.
Yeah.
And if we had to ask again who I'd give the edge to, I'd probably say the Yankees again.
Probably say the Yankees as well. I'm going to be honest, because, a lot of those pitches were hanging over the plate. Tigers players were just missing them or grounding out or getting themselves out because, quite frankly, the Tigers players are not that good.
Well, and this wasn't even the, A lineup of the Tigers.
No.
We were dealing with AAA, AA guys. We had a couple major leaguers in there, but it certainly wasn't their, we're gonna opening day roster.
Which still is kind of doo-doo.
Yeah, exactly. It's like the Tigers are one of the worst teams in baseball.
Yeah.
There's no denying it. But anyways, I'm a bit worried about that. I'm assuming that you think, and I think too, MATZ has got to be that third game, right?
Mm-hmm. Definitely want to get into that. So, MATZ, definitely third game. He's going to be facing against Domingo Herman. Who do you think is going to win in that? Because MATZ had a really good spring.
Well, okay. I'm definitely not giving it to the Yankees because I can't give them 3 games.
Give them 3.
And I do think that MATZ has been doing super hot, and I think that we can take one. I'm really hoping that we can leave this series winning 2.
Of course.
But I think that really relies on how our lineup does. I think our lineup is going to need to smack.
Yeah.
Or Ryu is going to need to put up the performance of a freaking lifetime. If Ryu can go for 0, if Ryu can give us 6 innings, 0 runs, then we can probably take that first game.
Yes.
This
Agreed.
is he's got to do amazing though. That's really hard.
That's hard. That's a lot to ask. Whereas
it's really hard.
Whereas Garrett Cole, it's you don't even need to ask that. He'll just give you it.
I think realistically, we'll probably get 1 run off of Garrett Cole.
Yeah, seriously.
So if Ryu can do 0, then we have the advantage. I don't know if he can.
So I agree with you in that sense. Where the only 2 games we can really grab is that first one and the last one, because again, don't really know about Domingo Herman, how he's been doing this spring, but Steven Matz, I know for sure has been basically
He's been
lights
rock
out.
solid, man.
He's been absolutely rock solid.
Our buddy Pat talked about him.
Yeah, he was incredible. So I think if we are going to win, that's going to be it. I hope we can win 2 out of 3. But you're probably wondering, where the hell is Tanner Roark?
Right.
I mean, if you've been following the spring at all, he's been absolutely god awful. He's had a couple outings where it's oh, there's some hope. But then he's had outings where he absolutely blown up, especially against the Yankees. And there's no way in hell that they're going to be pitching him against the Yankees, especially in the opening series. So, he's probably going to be playing in the next series against the Rangers because the Rangers are ass. And you got to pitch your ass against ass to have any hope.
He's still going to get smacked around, dude.
He's
in
still
our live today, guys, we were talking, and I stand by this 100%. If you are a betting person, always bet against Tanner Roark. Absolutely. It just is simply profitable. I don't think that I will ever say in a preview when Tanner Roark is pitching, I don't think I can ever say that we have the advantage.
Nope.
Unless they have their respective Tanner Roark. Yes. And it is the lineup like the Texas Rangers. So I'm curious to see who they're pitching that day too.
Honestly, we might have a chance.
We might have a chance if it's like Tanner Roark versus other Tanner Roark, and our lineup is better than their lineup, then I'd give it to us. But
I agree.
I don't want to see Tanner Roark on this team for much longer.
I don't. And actually, you know, I have a hot take about why Tanner Roark. I have a hot take about Tanner Roark. How Tanner Roark is not going to be pitching on this team for much longer.
A hot take?
So I think Tanner Roark is going to be out of the rotation by May. I don't know if it's going to be May 1st. I don't know if it's going to be May 30th. But he is going to be out of the rotation by sometime in May. Why? Because here's the reason why. So you got Ryu. You got Robbie Ray will be coming back. If MATZ hits, that's excellent. Then you got Stripling in that spot if he can find his way to get somewhere around a 4.1, 4.2 ERA. Where's Nate Pearson? Oh, here he is. Nate Pearson's going to come back in that 5th spot, but then you still got Tanner Roark. And you're, where the hell is Tanner Roark going to fit? Well, if Tanner Roark starts sucking asshole, which we all know he's going to do, he's going to be slurping it. It's very, very bad.
Oh, God, that's disgusting.
Disgusting, right? I mean, that's the image I see when I see him throwing pitches down the middle of the plate.
Fair enough.
Right? Tanner Roark is going to be out of the rotation by May because he's going to get about 5 starts, maybe 6 starts, and then his ERA is going to be up over 7. And once Nate Pearson's coming back and maybe some of Mike MATZ and Ray start doing well, this guy's got to be pushed into the back of the bullpen for like a middle relief, long relief kind of role.
Yeah.
There's no way they're going to keep Roark if they actually want to win this year in that rotation because he will suck. And the only teams he can beat are Texas. That's it. The Texas Rangers are it. The Detroit Tigers. That's it. But you're not going to be beating the AL East in Boston, in Tampa, in New York. You're not beating them. So he will be gone for sure by May.
Yeah. See, this is a hot take in my mind because our rotation is not good without him, you know, and there are question marks circulating around Pearson and around Ray and around MATZ and around everyone, literally everybody except Ryu.
Yes.
But I think that you're really betting on Ray just like being so bad that he walks himself into basically.
Or Roark being so bad.
I'm sorry, Roark being so bad that he walks himself straight into AAA.
Or in the back of the bullpen. They wouldn't give him to AAA.
That's true. We're paying him too much. Unless he's so bad.
That's what like he sucks in the bullpen too. What are we gonna June, he's in AAA.
Yeah.
He's off the team.
Yeah, he's completely off the team, bro. But you know what? It's not a bad hot take because I do really think that he is past his prime, guys. He looked bad in some of the spring training starts. I don't think he's got what it takes anymore to be a major league guy. Or at least a starter in the major leagues, maybe a bullpen dude. But I feel like whenever he walks up to the plate, we're gonna lose this game unless we can score at least 5 or 6 runs. So I do think that that's definitely a fair hot take.
Yeah. Like it's probably not going to happen. That's why it's hot. But I can see it happening, and that's my take.
Yeah, because you know, on this show, when we're looking at the numbers. Guys, if you want to see an awful Baseball Savant page, you go check out Tanner Roark's.
Seriously.
Like all of the percentiles, they are ice cold blue.
They're all blue.
They are ice cold blue.
So bad.
Yeah, you want them to be red, and they are very, very blue. So Tanner Roark out of the starting role sometime in May.
Yeah.
Alrighty, man. So we've kind of talked about what's going on in MLB. We've talked about Blue Jays news. I want to just give the final record for this coming week. What do you think? Are we 2-1 against the Yankees? Are we 3-0 against them? Or are they taking us 2-1 themselves?
Now, I know I did say that we'd lose 2 of the 3. That's going to be my analytical take. All right?
Sure.
We're going to come out of the opening series 1-2. My fan take, we're taking 2-3. We're winning opening day, and we're taking the Sunday game.
Yeah. And I agree with you on both of those takes because for me, and you're going to see this next week where we crown the J of the week. But I am projecting that our J of the week, which is the best J of this week, will be Ryu, where he pitches for 6 and gives up 0.
He would totally win in that short week.
Exactly. He pitches for 6 innings. He strikes out 6, and he gives up 0 runs. And that performance is the the big factor that helps us win that game and beat Garrett Cole something like 2-1.
Oh, hell yeah.
That's
going to be an awesome game. Gritty at bats, just straight up Bo 11 pitches. Oh, that's going to be nice.
Yeah.
That's going to be straight up amazing.
I am stoked for this coming week. I'm stoked for the regular season. Guys, if you were super excited as well, let us know in the comments down below. Do you have any final thoughts, man?
Final thoughts? I guess my final thought would be, not about like the upcoming week or anything. Obviously, go Jays go. Hello. Like, it's finally baseball's back. Super excited.
Yeah, dude.
I just want to toss out really quick. So we're going to be having a segment coming on this show at the very end where every week Nick and I are going to spin a wheel, and the wheel's going to have a bunch of statistics, maybe some weird statistics on them.
Yeah.
And when it lands, we're going to pick a player each to see who's going to hit like it could be hitting the most home runs, could be getting the most strikeouts, getting the most walks. And then what we're going to do is we're going to do that 3 times, pick our players, kind of like a mini fantasy team. And then at the end of every week, we're going to count them up and kind of have a score kind of going all season. So I think it's gonna be a really
kind of like a weekly category league rather than like a daily fantasy. It's like a weekly fantasy or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Something like that.
It's something to look forward to, for the show if you guys have made it to this point. So it's gonna be really exciting.
And we'll be doing a couple other segments too, guys.
Yeah.
But let us know your thoughts and comments down below about this coming week, about the Jays, about everything. And you can check us out on Spotify, Breaker, Anchor, Radio Public, and Google Podcasts. I was supposed to do this in the middle of the podcast.
Yes.
I completely forgot.
Or at least shout out like the articles and all that stuff.
Yeah. Well, we got articles. We got merchandise. We got Patreon too. $3 a month. You can become a Patreon member. You can call into the show. We got Relevant. We're going live on there. Usually when we've had a couple drinks. What else we got?
Well, we got our Wine Unwind that's going to be coming out actually after the first opening day, so on that Friday. If you're like, I'm missing baseball.
Yeah.
You can check that out. And you can submit your questions in the comments down below and just be like, hey, question for your Wine Unwind, blah, 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 blah.
We might even be going live for it. We're not sure yet. We could be doing that.
Just setting up some techie stuff and we'll figure it out.
Exactly, guys. But we are so ready to have this wonderful season with you guys. We'll be on this often, so please subscribe to the channel, and we're going to be having an amazing season of hopefully Blue Jays playoff baseball at some point or another.
Hell yes.
Hey guys, thanks so much for watching.
And go Jays go!